This is the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Tuesday, the 26th of January. James Spann here. Nice and calm through the next couple of days, but very interesting weather at the end of the week. And some folks just north of here could see a nasty ice snow event as we approach the weekend. A lot to talk about. Let's get right to it. First off, the Skycam images early this morning at the somewhat insane hour of 5 o'clock. Looking at downtown Birmingham from the Daniel Building, looking south. It's clear and cold. Tuscaloosa looking north from the top of the Tuscaloosa County Courthouse. And Auburn's Skycam down in Lee County. Well, our big trough is still in place, and it will be another cool and dry day today, very similar to yesterday. Here's a look at temperatures. Pretty cold. Nothing record-breaking cold, but it's cold enough. About 10 below zero on the Canadian border. And the numbers around here, mostly in the low 30s. Cold spot Haleyville at 30. And again, today, very much like yesterday, a lot of sun with a high close to 50. Now, the watch warning map. Yeah, look at North Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. It's going to be an ugly ice snow event for a large chunk of that region. And that'll be moving on into the Mid-South late this week. There's the precipitation for the next 5 days, valid through Sunday morning at 6 o'clock. About 2 inches around here. And most of that for us should be in the form of rain, but just north of here, look out for freezing rain, icing, snow issues. Here's a look at our Day 3 snow outlook. This is Thursday. The bullseye places like, the Interstate 40 corridor from Amarillo back over to Oklahoma City and Tulsa. And yes, I do know Tulsa's not on Interstate 40, but you know the deal there. And then the ice outlook, freezing rain. Again, this is the problem. Cold air should be pretty shallow, and there could be some pretty nasty icing, maybe enough to cause power outages out there. But let's get right into it and dig deep. This is modeling. This is the GFS, the 06Z run at noon today at 500 millibars. There's the trough over the east. Vortmax west of Los Angeles. We'll watch that down below that. Cool and dry. One more lobe coming down the trough. Might squeeze out a few snow flurries over Tennessee today, but should stay north of here. Tomorrow, cold morning will be in the 20s, we think, to start the day, but will moderate up into the mid-50s. And Thursday, there's our interesting setup. Polar branch delivering cold air to the north. Southern branch with a storm off to the west. And down below that, there's that messy setup there for Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas with icing very likely. And understand now, Thursday night, we might have a little precipitation breaking out here. And that might be in the form of ice pellets, sleet, maybe a little freezing rain north of here, but we don't think that Thursday night precipitation will be the big deal. Now let's go to Friday at midday. There's the big picture. Let's get down on it here a little closer. That's a Friday at noon. And understand that 0 degree line at 850 doesn't necessarily reflect the entire story, because the cold air could very well and should be even more shallow than that, underneath 5,000 feet. But the bottom line is, this is Friday at midday. A big ice snow event should be going on across Arkansas and a pretty good chunk of Tennessee, especially from Interstate 40 on north. And around here, just rain, we think. A cool rain on Friday. There's Friday evening at 6 o'clock. And this is where it gets, this is Friday night at midnight. Friday night, there will be a time where we could see a changeover to freezing rain, sleet, or snow here. And for now, we're just going to downplay it, mention it as a light event. Temperature should be above freezing at the surface, no problem. Just be aware that the skill in handling this, 4 days in advance or 3 days in advance is not that good. We'll watch for that window of potential problems Friday night. And we'll see how this whole thing plays out. Again, this is suggesting that the bulk of the real problems there would still be north of us. And then Saturday just turns cold. We will not get out of the 30s, if that's right. We'll peek at the Canadian. Very similar setup there. It's got the surface low coming up through South Georgia. That's at 6 o'clock Friday evening. And the European, that's at midnight Friday night, same deal. So the global model agreement is good. The problem is they do not have the resolution to handle shallow cold air, and that always makes us very nervous. So we're not going to change our forecast. We'll go with rain Friday, then the chance of a wintry mix Friday night as the whole thing ends. Look at the DGEX snow accumulation chart through 192 hours. Woo, boy. a whopper, if this is right, along that Interstate 40 corridor, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville. Goodness. And the GFS snow accumulation potential has the better snow band, and I think this is probably right. Really north of Interstate 40, the problem is going to be icing just below that this does not reflect. And this is a look at a little mesoscale output called the FIM model. And again, it's got the snow water equivalent farther south, but again, we discount that for now. But again, the whole thing just makes us a little nervous. We'll watch it carefully as we get closer and fine-tune that as need be. We'll go to the GFS on Saturday, and again, the whole thing is lifting out. There could be some morning snow flurries, but it's going to be a cold day. We'll be in the 30s all day with wind chill index values below freezing all day. Sunday, we'll start the day probably close to 20, and then we'll moderate with a high up around 50. And Monday of next week, we warm into the low 50s. And look at Tuesday. Here comes another strong trough. And another wet down on Tuesday, and another snow potential there for Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, just north of here on Groundhog's Day. And then Wednesday of next week, that whole thing is gone, and we get another shot of cold air. All right, quick peek at the end of the forecast on the 10th of February. The southern stream is dominant, no Arctic air. And again, that looks wet, maybe icy on the northern fringe. But just looks like it's going to be kind of a month maybe for a lot of fun and games here with the potential for this interaction with the northern branch and the southern branch. As we've said in recent weeks, no dull moments around here. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 3:30 or so today. And if you're local to us, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 at 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.
Each day, there are new stories to tell about the people who live here and the place we call home.
All of the faces that I see, all of the places close to me, they're all part of all the best things about home.
Sharing your stories on ABC 3340, Alabama's news leader.